Wife had crap fracked out of her the night before our wedding. Her alibi unknowingly rated her out. Posted by Time Gap 5666. If you like these stories and want to see more, please like and subscribe. It's the night before our wedding. Friday, July 5, 1985. She, S for short, came home an hour early from work. Said she had to go get shoes to match the gown I'd bought her. She left the house around 5 p.m. Guests who were camping in our backyard get there about 9:30 p.m. She got home around 12:30 a.m., so it took her 7 hours to make a 20-minute drive to town, buy her shoes, and make the return trip. She said she met an old girlfriend I'll call Kay at the shoe store, and as the car didn't start, they decided to go to the bar across from the mall where the shoe store was and have a beer. Their chat went on, and time got away from her. There were a few red flags in her story, but I was as overhead in love with the woman of my dreams, so I wouldn't notice or think to question them until I was told the truth of what went on by the friend, and by then we were already married. So we married on the 6th and left on the 7th for a honeymoon in Cape Cod, arriving around midnight, and she fell asleep instantly. I thought that was understandable, given all the stress leading to the wedding. I was a real dumbass. So, the next night when I tried to slide onto the honey pot, she winced and said she was still sore. She stayed sore the entire week. Though I felt more than a little gypped, I felt bad for her being too sore. She said she had no idea why. So the car was running roughly one day while there. I bought points, plugs, condenser and plug wires, all I could do while on the road, but it didn't help. As had been the case when it acted up before, after it sat for about 30 minutes, it ran fine the rest of our time there and all the way home. We got home Sunday, the 14th. On Monday morning, the car wouldn't start, so I set about effecting a successful car repair, so on Tuesday, July 16, 1985, the car started just fine, and she went to work. Around 3 p.m. that day, I was home, as in August I'd begin my junior year in college. As a returning adult, I was 33, the house phone rang. There were no cell phones yet. When I answered, it was the dear friend Kay, with whom the new wife had her chance encounter at the shoe store. She spoke like she thought the wedding had been on the 13th rather than the 6th, and she was so glad she had gotten me because she was so sorry she'd had to miss our wedding, and she felt horrible about it, because she hadn't seen S for way too long and she so wanted to meet me. Could we come to visit her and her husband in Rochester? I said I'd have S call her when she got home later, and the two of them could make that plan. No crap. I was totally devastated. The friend was obviously never told of her status as an alibi. I said nothing when S got home, but that Kay had called. Oh. What did she want? I said just to apologize for missing the wedding and invite us to visit. It's just 2 hours after I'd spoken to Kay, who'd inadvertently told me she had no idea she'd been used as an alibi. I was devastated by that call but was keeping silent on that aspect of it. Over the next couple of weeks, I worked diligently in my head to assess the situation and determine a response. Ultimately I chose a wait-and-see approach. In hindsight, that was the wrong thing to do, but she still said the things I longed to hear at night, and having escaped 4 years earlier from a very effed up cheating wife, I knew the normal signs of cheating and chose to let it be and to just be observant as hell. Other than a few instances that could easily have been misunderstood, I saw nothing to make me think cheating was going on. 16 months later, our first son was born. It wasn't until the boy began to really develop physically that I began to wonder about who his father really was, as he resembled no one in either my family or the wife's family. I've never let that wonderment disturb our relationship, the boys and mine, as I only recently decided it was a necessary consideration for me. My son didn't deserve it, and I wouldn't be a party to creating a life of crap over my own misgivings and over what, if my doubts were correct, was my own fault for not having kicked the slut to the curb right there on July 16th after the call from the alibi. So my wait-and-see approach saw nothing. As cheaters cheat. That's what they do. I'm sure it continued, as her experience of using an alibi without forewarning that person made her far more cautious. So upon grad from college, I took a job that would ultimately be 15 years of 50 to 70 hours a week, being paid for 40, but, soon we also had another child, who looked just like me, From the baby pictures to college grad pictures, she looks like me. My work hours spent trying to get ahead made us too busy to make getting laid outside an easy task. I can only guess, but I'm far from certain. Then, around 2009, an old friend from HS in Delaware. Her friend, I was schooled in Jersey, called her out of the blue. Of course, he was a guy she lived with her senior year in HS and her freshman year in college, someone she had spent 2 years effing. No detail here on this, but to say that when confronted, I was gaslighted, look the term up, horribly. I'd gone this far, so to save my marriage, quite stupidly, I suggested counseling, to which she objected vehemently. I insisted, but she immediately started gaslighting me, a tact she maintained the entirety of each of the 4 sessions we had before I stopped the self-torture and cancelled out. The therapist I'd chosen was a woman, as I figured S would be more inclined to work with another woman. Big mistake, as every word and every facial expression showed she believed the lies S fed her. That was very frustrating, as the affair was continuing through this time of so-called counseling. I had access to phone records, guessed her email password to gather more evidence, and caught her in numerous lies. We had one computer we shared, so I bought and installed a keylogger, which I found disabled on a daily basis. So, eventually, I think in 2011, I gave her a computer for Christmas. This was me saying do what you want, as I couldn't take the lying being thrown in my face anymore. That a-hole, Tom was his name, died in 2014. F him. It was in 2012 S determined I wasn't going to receive anything emotionally from her, so all intimacy ended. No hugs, no nothing. It turns out she cut me off after he was diagnosed with cancer and while I was still watching her closely. So he's no threat, though it must be his wonderful cuddle memory that and some level of hatred for me over my having become an impediment to whatever plans they had made, and now she'd never get to fuck the effing a-hole again. Now I'm thinking about getting that emotional support and lost intimacy somewhere else. S says that's okay, but that it's only okay if she knows all about it. Yeah. Right. F her and the dead Dover guy. I'm tired of writing and the phone's dying. So I'll update as needed and will try to respond to comments as I can. Let me know what you think. Just give me a break, as I already know I was an a-hole not to just leave before I became so mired in this crap. Later. And now for the top comments. Tough to understand what you said, at least for me, but if she's causing you so much stress, it's best just to leave her. You don't know how great it feels. I am not married, but I was in a relationship, where I found out late that no relationship is far better than a sour one. You do whatever you want. I suggest something cruel in public. And now for our next story. Don't blindly trust your friend. Posted by Inhar2. Me, 29 male, and my ex-wife 26 female, were married for 3 years. She was beautiful, and I am a decent-looking chap. I loved my ex-wife dearly and considered myself lucky to have her in my life. She was the girl of my dreams. About 2 years ago, my college mate and friend 29M, was relocating to our city as part of his job change. He's a very good-looking guy, 6'2" and well-built. His new company didn't provide him with temporary accommodation, so I offered him to stay with us till he finds a place. Little did I knew that this decision would change my life upside down. Initially, I thought he would be with us for less than 2 to 3 weeks as finding a place for rent in our city is not that difficult. But it's more than a month, and he was giving me lame excuses. I didn't mind it much as he was a very good friend and he was also actively helping us with our chores. Around this time, my ex-wife started avoiding me in bed and was citing ill health as the reason. We had a very active sexual life till then. Initially, I believed her and gave her the space she wanted. But one day, I saw something that almost got me a heart attack. I couldn't believe my eyes and was devastated when I saw my ex-wife making out with my friend. I couldn't control my anger and was also equally sad. I cried for days. Out of everyone, I trusted my wife the most, even more than my parents. After a few days, I set up hidden cams at my place to catch them red-handed. Even before I could confront them with the hidden cam recordings, my ex-wife became pregnant with my friend's baby. I took that as an opportunity to confront them both. They both initially disagreed, but after a lot of drilling and questioning, they finally agreed. I didn't show them the videos as I feared that it could be used as a tool by them to legally harass me. After a lot of both our families' intervention, we finally agreed to part ways. Immediately after our divorce, she married my friend, rather ex-friend, in a closed ceremony, and I am still unmarried and trying to recover. I am still baffled and not able to figure out why she cheated on me. I never said no to anything she asked for. We had a very active sexual life, and she appeared happy with that. Was she faking it? It's no secret that he's much better looking than me, and he probably is more endowed than me as well, but I loved her with all my life. Not sure if I will ever recover from this. Never ever blindly trust your friend and let them in your home. Always have a grain of suspicion and act immediately when you smell something fishy. And now for the top comments. I'm sorry that you've been through this, but I think you're not even thinking of your value as a person. I mean, the only way he's better than you is in looks, which fades very quickly, and you sound like an amazing husband. Like I would love someone thinking the way you used to think about her. So I really recommend a therapist so you can feel happy with yourself. Also, I don't think the relationship is going to continue for a long time, since the only thing they appear to have in common is just a sexual connection. I hope the best for you. You should only feel hate for both of them. They both betrayed you, then gaslight you. You do need therapy, no doubt, and just do your best to forget them both. There are men on here that have been married 20 to 30 years and are betrayed. If they can survive it and have a good life, you sure as hell can. Also, check out Surviving/Infidelity here on Reddit. Men can help you more. Why did she cheat? And why did your friend betray you? Because underneath, they are terrible people. Don't waste one moment of your time thinking about them. They are together, and they deserve each other. Take this alone time to work on yourself physically and emotionally. Get therapy if you feel that it will help. It will help in preparing for your next relationship so that you will see any red flags before you invest any of your time. It hurts like hell, but you are preparing yourself for the one you are truly meant to be with. When that happens, you will never doubt her love or loyalty. What's your say on this? Do you have a similar story? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.